Remember where you were on this day because the tennis world has just been shaken to its very core. Nobody saw it coming. The bookmakers did not predict it. The experts laughed it off. But history does not care about predictions. On the sacred grass courts of Wimbledon, the unstoppable force of women's tennis, the multiple-time Grand Slam champion, the titanium wall Iga Swiatek, has just been brought to her knees. And the person who did it is a rising superstar who simply refused to back down. Alex Eala. This was not just a match. This was an absolute gladiator battle where a giant fell and a new queen announced herself to the universe. How did a young underdog break through the most impenetrable defense in modern tennis? How did she survive the psychological warfare against the world number 3? We are breaking down the tactical masterclass, the nerve-wracking pressure points, and the exact moment Alex Eala pulled off the biggest upset in modern tennis history. If you think you know what happened, think again because the cameras missed the real drama behind the scenes. To truly understand the scale of what Alex Eala just achieved, we have to look at the massive task she had ahead of her. Entering this match, Iga Swiatek was not just a favorite, she was an absolute mountain to climb. Swiatek has spent years dominating the tour with a brand of tennis that leaves opponents mentally broken before they even step onto the court. Her heavy topspin forehand, her unmatched court coverage, and her brutal competitive instinct make her a nightmare on any surface. When Iga gets into her rhythm, she does not just win matches, she hands out absolute shutouts that destroy her opponent's confidence. The tennis media expected this match to be a routine victory for the superstar, a simple stepping stone to another Wimbledon final. But enter Alex Eala, a player who has carried the hopes of her fans on her shoulders since she was a teenager. Eala is no stranger to making history, having won junior titles and fought through grueling lower-level tournaments to grind her way up the rankings. But the senior tour is a completely different beast. Facing Swiatek on the center court of Wimbledon is the ultimate test of fire. Nobody expected Eala to win, meaning the pressure on her was zero from the outside world, but inside her chest, the fire was burning hotter than ever. The match started exactly how everyone predicted. Iga Swiatek came out like a freight train. Her shots were deep, her movement was flawless, and she immediately put Eala under immense pressure. In the opening game, Swiatek's heavy balls were pushing Eala far behind the baseline. It looked like the script was going exactly as written, but this is where the script started to flip. Instead of panicking, Alex Eala did something brilliant. She embraced the chaos. She realized that trying to outpower Swiatek from the back of the court was suicide, so she changed the rhythm. Eala began using short angles, taking the ball incredibly early on the rise and taking away Swiatek's reaction time. Eala's coaching team had clearly done their homework. They targeted Swiatek's second serve, which can sometimes look vulnerable under extreme aggression. Every time Swiatek missed a first serve, Eala stepped inside the baseline and punished the ball. The crowd in center court began to notice a shift in the air. The atmosphere turned electric. Swiatek looked at her box, shaking her head. The unbeatable champion was starting to feel the heat. Tennis is almost entirely mental. When you are the absolute favorite, everyone expects you to win. That pressure can act like a heavy anchor around your neck if things start going wrong. As the match progressed into the deep waters of the second set, the pressure began to shift from the underdog to the champion. Every single point became a war of attrition. Eala was chasing down every single ball like her life depended on it. She was sliding, diving, and returning shots that should have been clear winners. You could see the frustration building up in Swiatek's eyes. She started committing unforced errors that she rarely makes. A forehand wide, a backhand into the net. The fortress was crumbling, and then came the crucial break. In a game that lasted over 10 minutes with multiple deuces, Eala refused to break. She stood her ground against Swiatek's baseline bombs. When Eala finally secured the break, the stadium erupted. The impossible was suddenly looking very, very possible. We entered the final stretch, the ultimate test of nerves. This is where champions usually show their teeth. We have seen Iga Swiatek down a break in the final set before, only to storm back and crush her opponent's dreams. Everyone expected the Swiatek comeback, and it started to happen. Swiatek broke back, leveling the score. The pressure was suffocating. This was the exact moment where most young players would have folded. The crowd was on the edge of their seats, and the momentum was swinging back to the champion. But Alex Eala showed a maturity far beyond her years. She did not look back at the lost points, she looked forward. Serving for the match is the ultimate test in all of sports. Your hands are shaking, the racket feels like it weighs 100 pounds, and across the net stands one of the greatest competitors of this generation. Eala threw the ball into the air. First serve in. A powerful rally followed, but Eala held her nerve, dictating the point until Swiatek's final return sailed long. Game, set, match, Eala. The words echoed across Wimbledon, sending shockwaves across the globe. Alex Eala dropped to her knees, tears filling her eyes as the realization of what she had just accomplished washed over her. She had done it. She had defeated Iga Swiatek at Wimbledon. This victory changes everything. For Alex Eala, this is not just a win, it's her grand arrival on the biggest stage in the world. She has proven that she does not just belong among the elite, she can beat the absolute best of them. For her fans and for the sport, this is a historic milestone that will inspire generations to come. The giant has fallen and a new star is rising fast in the tennis sky. What did you think of this absolutely legendary match? Was this the greatest upset in Wimbledon history, or did Swiatek just have a bad day? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more epic tennis breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you never miss history in the making. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video. If you thought the match itself was the end of the story, you are sorely mistaken. The true earthquake happened the exact moment both players walked off the court and into the press rooms, where the weight of this historic upset finally crashed down on the tennis world. Inside the locker rooms, the atmosphere was thick with tension. On one side, you had the absolute shock and heartbreak of a dominant champion, and on the other, the overwhelming, tearful celebration of a nation's hero. The media was in a complete frenzy, scrambling to rewrite their front pages, change their headlines, and figure out how the absolute impossible had just taken place right before their eyes. In the post-match press conference, all eyes were on Iga Swiatek. The tennis world wanted to know how the undisputed powerhouse of the tour had let this victory slip through her fingers. Looking visible shaken but remaining incredibly graceful in defeat, Swiatek did not make any excuses. She openly admitted that she felt the immense pressure building up with every single game. She praised her opponent, stating that Alex Eala played a flawless tactical game, taking the ball so early that it completely disrupted her usual rhythm. Swiatek confessed that on the grass courts, if you lose your focus for even a single second, the match can get away from you, and that is exactly what happened. It was a rare, deeply vulnerable moment from the world number 3, showing that even the most mechanical titanium champions are human at the end of the day. When Alex Eala stepped up to the microphone, the energy in the room completely shifted. Surrounded by a massive wave of international journalists, she could barely contain her smile, though the exhaustion was clear in her eyes. Eala shared the exact game plan her team had spent weeks perfecting behind closed doors. She revealed that they had analyzed hours of footage to spot the tiny, rare vulnerabilities in Swiatek's second serve and baseline positioning. Eala told the media that her main goal wasn't just to play defensive tennis, but to actively force Swiatek out of her comfort zone by taking massive risks on the rise. When asked about the pressure of the final game, Eala admitted her hands were shaking violently, but she looked up at her box, took a deep breath, and told herself that this was the moment she had been working for her entire life. Meanwhile, across the globe, the internet was practically melting down. Social media platforms were flooded with highlights, reactions, and congratulatory messages from some of the biggest icons in sports history. The victory instantly became a national celebration, sparking immense pride for fans who had supported her journey from the very beginning. Tennis analysts and legendary former players were left completely speechless, openly debating whether this tactical masterclass would permanently change how opponents approach playing against Swiatek in the future. Overnight, Alex Eala went from a highly respected rising star to a household name, proving to every young athlete out there that no giant is too big to be taken down if you have the right strategy and unwavering belief. Looking ahead, this monumental upset completely blows the entire tournament draw wide open. With the top seed and tournament favorite knocked out of the running, every remaining player in the locker room suddenly smells blood in the water. The path to the final is completely unpredictable now. For Alex Eala, the celebration has to be short-lived because the spotlight on her is about to get 10 times brighter. She is no longer the hidden underdog flying under the radar. She is now the giant killer with a massive target on her back. Every opponent moving forward will be studying her footage, trying to figure out how to stop her newfound momentum. The pressure is about to reach an all-time high as she tries to prove that this historic win wasn't just a one-time miracle, but the official start of a brand new era in women's tennis. We are watching history unfold in real time, and the journey is far from over. Can Alex Eala maintain this unbelievable level of play and ride this momentum all the way to the trophy, or will the immense pressure of this sudden stardom catch up to her in the next round? Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. If you loved this deep dive into the aftermath of the biggest upset of the year, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss our coverage of the next round, and turn on that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the very next video.